Gate 14 podcast, and we are back. It felt like a month of a hiatus for the Gate 14 boy. I'll be honest with you, it felt a little nice to have a little Sunday off. It really did.
Last weekend was awesome. It's like, okay, we get one Sunday where we're never going to do this for the rest of the year. And it was like, okay. But then you miss it. It's like, what are we doing with our lives? So nice to have Ernie on today, though. We'll say that.
Yeah, the Ernie interview. Massive week for the Gate 14 boys. I mean, me and Avery got live at bats on Tuesday, by the way, I don't think listeners know this. We have like a full-blown, pretty much professional camera crew for this live at bats. We got 3 cameras. There's going to be velo in the video, going to be different angles. Me and Avery are going to be mic'd up. To say I'm pumped for this would be an understatement. It's going to be funny content. It's going to be probably like the most professionally, and Judah does a great job, obviously, as well. But having the multiple...
Kale's special, man. Kale is special.
Kale is. And obviously, like I said, Judah does a great job. But Kale offering to do it is going to be awesome. And we're going to be there. So Tuesday, it's going to get done. I'm pumped.
Do we want to do predictions pre...
Yeah. Okay. So
what are we gonna do?
So for the people that know, it's gonna be 3 at bats, but there's gonna be a little bit before. Like obviously, we're gonna be like getting pre-game videos, like of us warming up, like just trash talking, just doing funny shit. Maybe I'll do a 60-yard dash, with an actual legit timer. But it's 3 at bats. I say a success for me. Anything less than 2 for 3 would be an embarrassment. Especially with how hard you're throwing. Obviously, you have a torn labrum, not to make excuses, but you do have a torn labrum. Anything less than 2 or 3 would be embarrassment. I haven't seen live pitching since McCook, but the only time I saw it, Bryson Stott, when I went to Vegas, he threw me live. He threw off a mound to me. He was throwing like 75 probably. He was kind of not really throwing that hard. And I sent the ball off the wall at UNLV, off of the Raising Cane sign. Against him. So I think it will be good for me. I'm not sure. We'll see. What are your predictions?
If I can get to 74, I think you're in trouble. But like I can't see myself throwing over 70 miles an hour. My shoulder just doesn't fucking work anymore. I know how much, like how bad it hurts to throw a baseball. And I know I got like no more feeling in my fingers. So it is going to be interesting. If I can't throw a strike, then I should never play baseball. I think I can throw strikes, and that's not a problem. Every off-speed pitch I throw goes into your barrel, which is I'm worried about. Other than that, I think my main issue is you are going to hit a top of the cage fly out that isn't going to be a home run in any park in Canada, any park in North America. And you are going to celebrate and bat flip so hard on it, and there's just nothing I'm going to be able to do because it's going to be loud.
I will be loud if that does happen. But I think we can have Morrow or camera guy dictate if it's a hit or not. It's an unbiased, right? Like unbiased source.
You think Morrow's unbiased?
Well, Morrow's not unbiased, but I think we got to have an off-duty guy with no side, no dog in the race saying if it's a hit or not. Then we could be like, all right, we'll see. And then maybe we'll let the hitters decide. We'll post a video. We'll do a poll at the end or the comments. They can leave it. The most liked comment will be who won the competition. But I am excited for it. Like I said, I haven't seen live since February. But it's not really, it's a different live. You're throwing fucking 68, like 70. So we'll see what happens. But it is a big week for Gate 14. That's long overdue. I get DMs about it all the fucking time. So I'll be pulling up in some 3/4 leg sleeves. My McCook jersey you can see here behind me. Shout out Johnny for getting that done for me. It'll be electric. And
I think I'm pulling up stirrups and pants and getting this done.
You got to go full out. That picture is gonna break the internet of me and you just outside of the cage. It's awesome. I'm excited for it. So it's been a big week, man. We got the Ernie interview coming up. Let's talk about that right now. I guess a little bit, kind of hinted at it, but what an interview. I mean, some of the shit he said. Like the Terry Francona story, which obviously you guys will listen to it later on here, is just absurd. And like Ernie is just, I can't really describe for the people because the best way for me to describe it is Ernie is like one of us. So when he was at home watching the Jays, when they sent him down a little bit, he would be live texting me about the game. And he texted me one time, I didn't have his number saved because I forgot. I just got a random text from a number saying the cock with exclamation marks under Brandon Belt hit a home run. And it was Ernie Clement. Just the greatest dude ever, the funniest dude ever. And he is honestly just one of us. Like, he really is. He's just a normal guy.
Yeah, you love to, I explained to all just normal people really good at sports. And Ernie, during the interview, he gave us his best, didn't put on a media show for it. You can tell he's just normal dude, loves talking baseball. What a guy. So we, as us two, appreciate his time. Ernie's the best, man.
Yeah. And it's a great guy to kick off the off-season interviews with is Ernie. So I'm excited for that. But let's go into a story here because I tweeted it Thursday and got people asking with who. I fell in love on Thursday. This is the podcast of love, and I'm not. The people are gonna think this story's fake. That's fine. I'm not gonna do the screenshots and just fucking sewer these people. But Thursday night, I'm at Paris, Texas, with Alto and Curtis and Randa and all those guys. Obviously, we were buzzing, and I go to the bar and go to buy a drink. And this bartender, and I will say this, she's probably gonna be listening to this, or her brother's gonna be listening to this. Gorgeous, very good looking, very out of my league. After I buy my drink, she does this double look to me, and she's like, "Are you Johnny Junta?" And I'm like, "Yes." She goes, "My brother's a massive fan of yours. Can I take a picture with you?" And I said, I thought I was just mangled when she said this. I was like, yeah, you can take a picture with me. So anyways, she takes a picture with me. Her brother sends it to me and says, "Sources say you met my sister at Paris, Texas." I was drunk at 12 o'clock. I text him with 100% all due respect. I might love her. Thank you for the support, brother. And he said, "Paris, Texas bartender, and she knows you broke the Schneider call up. She's exactly your type, but I can't take that respectfully, bro." So listen, I'm not going to out this listener. I said I was going to shout him out. I love your sister. I need Gate 14 Nation to get behind me here. We need to make at least one date happen. She lives in Toronto. She works in Paris, Texas. Just make it happen for the people. There's not really a way our listeners can make this happen, but just maybe tweet at me, find Johnny Love. We'll get it going. I need to just have one date with this girl. Just show her the Danny's Pizzeria.
Would you be willing to have it filmed?
No. Because I feel like she's not like that. I actually genuinely do think she's like, not to be cheesy, I genuinely do think she's like insanely good looking, and I would like take her out. But out of all due respect for our listener, and by the way, the guy, I said on the podcast multiple times, if any of you guys have good looking sisters to try to hook up the Gate 14 boys, you dropped the ball. So I don't know if I'm mad at this guy or this guy's my future brother-in-law. I'm not sure, but I would like to take her out. Probably won't happen. That's fine. We move past it. And I pulled a beauty move. I went up to her and I said, "What's his Insta? I'm going to throw him a follow." She's like, "Oh my God, he would love that." I threw him a follow. All time. I pulled out all the stops. Tipped her 25%, I think. Could be wrong on that. Might be 20. But it was, I kept telling the boys, this is how you know Johnny G was in love. I kept telling the boys, we got to go back to the bar and buy more drinks. We kept going back to that side of the bar. It was electric.
You should have just kept buying a single drink.
Yeah,
nonstop for everyone. So you're just spending a lot of time there.
Spending a lot of time with her. But anyways, listen,
I'm very happy for you.
You're not what you happy about. Nothing happened yet. We'll see.
You found the one. It's just if you can make it happen.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, man. I don't know. Like, listen, this guy's a very loyal listener. He likes a lot of our stuff. I don't want to lose a follower because of it. So, with all due respect, I'm married to the podcast game, so we'll keep it at that. Okay, we'll keep it at that. But speaking of the bars, stuff like that, do you know who Long Chung is?
Yeah, I know who Long Chung is.
Talk about this dude. This dude has been roaming the streets of Guelph. I live in Guelph. He has been roaming the streets of actually, it seems like everywhere. I saw him when I was doing Man on the Street sports interaction on Saturday.
At the Jays game, they show him sometimes too.
He is everywhere. What the fuck does this guy do?
Do you think he has a job?
I don't know. If that is his job, that is a galaxy brain job. Just by having a speaker on.
How do you think he makes money from that?
I was gonna say TikTok, but you can't make money off TikTok in Canada. So I don't know. Like, this kid is a fucking genius. He's a marketing wizard. I see videos of him fucking everywhere. How old is he? 100?
I don't want to know how old he is, actually.
I have been seeing him around Guelph since I was 16, 17. Like, I moved here a year ago, but I used to come here and party. and he was at Queen's homecoming on Saturday. Like, what
But
the fuck?
we talked about Long Chung yesterday too.
It's crazy. Good for him. Good for him. Our listeners are going to relate to that because a lot of them are in university and go to Guelph. But Long Chung is just
Sometimes I'll fall asleep, like I'm scrolling TikTok before bed, and his lives come on. Awesome stuff to watch. But we can talk about our weekend a little bit too. Johnny Wilderness. Can we talk about that?
Yeah. So listen, I've made this abundantly clear for a very long time that I'm not a wilderness guy. I'm not a nature guy. But when I'm with a group of guys like that, I said this in the car, it makes it a little bit worth it. I still smell like a fucking campfire right now. That makes me sick. It makes me sick. I don't know if there's a way to get it out. I just washed all of my clothes and they still smell like campfire. I don't know what's going on.
Then your washer's going to smell like a campfire.
Yeah, it's just a nightmare recipe. But listen, I am a guy. I like the concrete jungle. Okay. The only jungle that I respect is the concrete jungle. But it's good that was the second time or third time I've been to a cottage, so that was fun. But we're gonna stay on this side. We're gonna stay on this side of Ontario for a while here. I can't do it.
I mean, you got pushed in the water, which was a bad guy move.
Which was fucked up by Curtis, by the way. He's lucky my phone was in my back pocket, or I threw it on the deck.
We had a chat about it, and I said, "There's two things that can't happen if you're gonna throw him in. One, his phone can't be on him. No way." So originally the plan was we were going to take a picture with your phone to make sure you didn't have your phone. Because if Johnny doesn't have his phone, people respect Johnny.
Johnny content.
Johnny content. There you go. So we were like, okay, we'll take the picture with Johnny's phone and then Curtis will throw him in. And the other one was you can't lose his glasses. That can't happen either.
That would have been my personal fucking hell if I would have lost my glasses, dude.
So I have the video. I feel like maybe we tweet it out at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so we made sure that the phone thing didn't happen. That was talked about before. So out of respect, Curtis was looking out for you a little bit.
I was absolutely bang the fuck up. I'll say it. Like I'm on a big.
For people who don't know card games, Spoons is the easiest card game ever made. Johnny could not figure out Spoons last night.
And it wasn't a shtick either. Like, I was genuinely trying to count my cards. I was like, how many cards do I have? So, yeah, I was fucked up, dude. The dart picture of me, you, Alto, and Curtis goes nuts. And by the way, early announcement, me, Avery, Alto, and Curtis will be in Chicago next year for Blue Jays, Cubs. That's circled. Like, that's an auto attend. That's an auto attend. If you think we're not going to that, you're dumb. I will be there no matter what.
Yes, that is put it on your calendar. If the Gate 14 people want to be out, it's Wrigley Field, August, I believe, next year. That's our round 2 trip.
Round 2. We'll be buzzing on that. But yeah, no, it's good. And then obviously in a couple of weeks, we'll be filming the Gate 14 Awards, which should be electric. I have a lot of tricks up my sleeve for that. Alto and Curtis will be announcing it, some of the awards with us. But there's a lot of things coming up in Gate 14 land, man. I've been trying to get Guillermo on the podcast. He said, give me a couple of weeks, something like that. He's kind of sick. So maybe I'll take that a little bit off the docket. I'll pump the brakes on that. We'll see. But yeah, a lot of things coming up here for Gate 14. That live at bat video is going to break the internet. I'm going to say it. It's going to break the fucking internet. It really is. It's worth the pain. It is.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to have to grit my teeth for an hour and I'll be fine. And I'll never have to throw a baseball again until we do round 2 live at bats against Blue Jays players.
Yes, which will be awesome. I would love to take a bat. I would love to have an at bat against Swanee. That would be electric. But we'll
take his splitter 500 feet, man.
Yeah, but he has to let me know he's throwing the splitter. I want to see it live. If we have to go to Minnesota to face him, I'll do it. I don't give a fuck.
Do we want to talk about the Swanee thing?
Yeah, it's this is where I'm at. So I don't get into the politics stuff. I never have. I never will. I don't understand why people care so much about what other people do. I'll never, like, someone is legally hunting in their home state. Let me say that again. Legally hunting geese. And you get so mad where you have to write an article, a hit piece on someone legally hunting geese. Why does it matter? Like, why do you care what other people do, what is legal? You know, I don't get it.
See, I don't think it was a hit piece. It was just someone who had to write something, but you're not writing that thing for glaring reviews of Eric Swanson. You're writing it to get people mad at him, right? And he's shooting geese, man. You're allowed to do that. And so I don't know. I just thought it was
just weird. Just a
It got
weird angle to take. It wasn't
it
like a
got
lady.
taken
It was
too much too. Yeah.
it was a lazy article. It was just an article written, like pretty much just they
to
were just
get
reading the
hate
captions.
clicks. Yeah.
Yeah, to get clicks. And Swanee texted me about it. He's like, "What the fuck is this?" And I'm like, "We shouldn't have answered," because me and him, we did the math. Me and him answering that added I think 90,000 impressions alone to the tweet. Me and him answering that. So we talked. We're like, "Why the fuck would we answer this?" But he was pretty pissed off.
But when people write stupid shit about you, that's not even bad. It's like, how do you just let people get off, right? Doing that. So
if I remember correctly, though, BlogTO was in our live streams for the playoffs. Do you remember that?
So that's why I don't think it's like it's odd as to why they're doing it. It might have just been slow day, and it's like, okay, I like the Blue Jays, and then I found this. So
yeah, it's a weird.
I don't want to rip on the person who wrote it.
I won't. But
their job is to get clicks, but I don't want them trying to break down our guys.
In my opinion, though, it's just a lazy form of writing to get clicks based off of other people's expense, or preying on their downfall, or trying to bring a negative outlook towards them. It's a lazy.
They're not trying to make him look good.
Yeah, it's a lazy form of writing. And there's other things you could do with writing, especially at BlogTO, where you kind of have free will to write about whatever you want. You can write funny articles. You could be creative. It's like a blog type of thing. So just being lazy and trying to write a hit piece about someone shooting legally hunting Canadian geese, it's dumb and it's lazy. So I'm not sure.
Like in the article too, they said, oh, it's definitely legal and it's hunting season. It's fine. But look at these comments where people weren't too happy. So they weren't really standing on anything either. They were trying to put other people forward. So
yeah. And trust me, there is way more things in the world to worry about than a Major League Baseball pitcher hunting fucking geese. Okay. There's way more things to worry about
when it's allowed and where it's allowed.
Yeah, where it's allowed. So let's go on to the next thing too. I want to talk about before we cut it to the Ernie Clement interview. The Rogers Center's not selling the seats. Where do you stand on this, Avery? Because I saw a lot of things like there's no back of it, like there's no legs. The seats are in dirty condition, terrible condition. If you genuinely don't think that if you opened up the Rogers Center and had people sign waivers to disassemble these seats and take them home, or like pay like a cover charge to get in there, you are a terrible business manager or a business owner or just a businessman. Like, there would have been thousands lined up to get a Raw Rogers Center seat and even pay $50 cover to get into that stadium. I don't know if that's a effective strategy, but there is ways around it to get that done. I don't understand why they resorted to just throwing it in a scrapyard and pretty much saying the scrapyard has to disassemble them and break them and not allow people to get them. It's very dumb. Very fucking dumb. Kind of a slap in the face to the fans.
Yeah, I don't know their business practices there, but we walk into Curtis's dad's office Friday before we go up north, and he has a Maple Leaf garden seat in his office, Curtis's dad's office.
So cool, dude.
Exactly. And there's like a plaque to the bottom of it. And Curtis said to us, like, that's exactly why I wanted a Rogers Center seat for my office too. Like, people will pay the money. I understand them trying to get the seats out of there as quick as possible. So they're like, whatever, fuck it. But you are neglecting the fans again with something that they would probably really care about. So for me, it's just like you could be forward thinking. They didn't sell the seats last year either, right?
No.
So
it's just like a dumb business model. Like, you have a chance to make a shit ton of money off of fans who will do anything. I got DMs of people going to the landfill, like, and going to like the office and like saying, well, how can we get a seat? And them getting turned away and having to drive back to wherever they're from. People will do anything for that. And that's a keepsake, man. Like, not to sound like cringy or whatever, like all of my favorite memories as a kid, and even I guess in the last couple of years doing this with you, is at the Rogers Center. Like, those are my greatest memories and a lot of kids' greatest memories. And to just throw away these seats like they're meaningless when there's so much history around them. You saw the bat flip in those seats. You saw the Jays win a World Series in those seats and the Skydome seats. You saw everything in those seats. Doc Holliday pitched. People sat in those seats to watch Doc Holliday. It's just crazy. They would just throw them away like they're just nothing. It's wild.
Yeah, I got nothing good to say about that. So it's sad. Hopefully somehow we can get our hands on them, but yeah, the fans definitely would have liked that.
They deserve better, man. Fans deserve better, especially with how the end of that season went and just how loyal this fan base is. 3 million people showed up this year to a very lackluster, mediocre team that was not fun to watch. 3 million people showed up. So just not great. I don't understand why they do that, but I'm excited to see the renovations, I guess. I don't know if it's going to be like a crazy difference. They did a lot of the crazy difference last year, but those 100-level bars are going to be a very weird turn. I walked past the Rogers Center last Saturday to do my man on the street stuff, and they have just like disascended, like the entire 100-level. Like there's just nothing there. Like even like the bars and stuff like that, they're all gone.
Really?
It's crazy how fast they worked. It's insane.
Yeah, some people like the theory that they lost on purpose so they could start the
Crazy
renovations
theory.
faster.
Crazy fucking theory. Crazy theory. Just so dumb. But yeah, it's whatever. But
let's send it to the Earn Dog.
Yeah, let's send it to the Earn Dog. All right. Without further ado, let's cut it to the interview with the most handsome man these four eyes have ever seen, the most handsome man that's ever been on this podcast, Ernie Clement. All right. We are now joined by a guest that has been long overdue. If you're a Gate 14 guy, you know this is one of our guys, ride or die guy, my partner, a massive part of the 2023 Toronto Blue Jays. It is Ernie Clement, Earn Dog. What's up, brother? How we doing?
Great to see you, boys. Let's do this thing.
Last time we saw you, I wasn't in the right mental space. I think you might have Irish goodbye the last time I saw you. I was just on Neptune that night. Avery was sober. You were a sober assassinate.
Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't always have to be the drunkest person there, right?
I had to get out of there, man. I had to get out of there. We had a big game the next day. So
do you remember? Did I say anything crazy? I just remember. I bought your girlfriend a shirt, and I was just like, I like it was like a hero move by me. I just like pulled it out. I was like, here you go. I just couldn't believe that.
I think everything you said was crazy. Everything.
That was a good night, man. How you doing, brother? How's the off season? What are you doing? You hitting, or what are you saying right now?
I'm hitting golf balls. I just had a round today. Me and my uncle and a couple of his buddies went out, so I just got back. But yeah, a little bit of baseball, a little bit of working out, but a lot of golf.
It's also hockey season for you too.
Yeah,
that is a good point. That's actually probably the most important thing.
Are you like, so do you take, because I know some guys like take like a month off after the season, like don't worry about baseball or anything like that. Are you still hitting maybe a couple times a week, or are you just hammering it out every single day?
No, not every day. Not every day. This is a good time. The first couple of weeks into the off season, I like to kind of take a break and step back from the whole baseball thing, do a little golf, do a little hanging with the fam, which is probably the most important part of it. And then, playing a little hockey, keeping the legs loose, but it's good to decompress and take a little break from baseball because it's a long season.
You couldn't have wanted this season to end at all though, right?
No, God, no. That was tough. It was tough end, but I like where we're at. I like where we're what we got coming in next year, and a lot of those guys in AAA that I got to play with. There's a lot to be excited about, dude. That next year is gonna be sweet.
It's a lot of young bucks.
You personally, I think like the numbers you put up this year, like what clicked for you this year is just a lot different than any numbers you'd seen professionally to this point, right?
Oh yeah, I would have loved to keep playing another month or two, man. Yeah, it ended too soon, but I got a lot of confidence going to next year, man. I found a lot of things that worked, and like I said, it's just exciting, man. This is a great organization, so I hope I'm in their plans, and I hope I can keep hanging out with the boys for a little longer.
Dude, listen, if you are in Toronto next year, me and Avery might have to buy a condo and just start mooching off you, and just wherever you go, we go. But Avery, talking about this year, man, I mean, obviously you hit 380. I mean, so was it like change in approach, or just like you just kept it simple? Were you more loose, or just the more experience under your belt? Like, what was it for you that did it this year? Because I mean, you're at bats, you were getting deep into counts, you're hitting balls hard, putting balls in play. So like, what was the biggest difference for you there?
Yeah, it's a little bit of all of that combined, because I had like a year and a half of big league time under my belt, and It's so different when you're not playing every day. I think that's what a lot of people don't understand is like these guys who have had decent minor league careers come up to the big leagues and don't play every day, and they're expected to go in and perform. And there's no excuse when you don't. You still got to put up numbers, and you still got to help the team win. And it's really really difficult because you're going up against the best baseball players in the world, the best pitching in the world, and you might not have played in 5 days. And there's no excuse. You still got to go in there and do your job. So I just kind of put the excuses aside, and fortunately, I was able to play a bunch in AAA. They had me playing pretty much every day down there, so I got my work in, and every time I came up to the big leagues, I was ready to go.
When you're not playing the big leagues every day too, is it like not be so hyper focused so when it is your turn to show up, it's like, okay, I'm loose here, I'm ready to play all the time? Or is it a hyper focused thing all the time? Always have to be ready to go.
Yeah, you got to always be ready to go. You never know. I mean, like when Bo got hurt and I got called up that one time, it was like that next day I had to be ready to play. And we were traveling to Lehigh Valley that day, and they were like, "Hey, we need you in Toronto." So it's like you really never know, but it just the mental side of it's huge. Like I just had to be where my feet were and concentrate it on that day at hand. But um, you know, hats off to the guys in Toronto, my teammates and the guys that I was playing with. Like they welcomed me with open arms, and I didn't really know any of them. Like I came up and they were like, "Hey, dude, we need you to help us win. Let's go." And I was like, "Beautiful, I'm in."
I mean, you did that, and obviously, like you saying, you just had to go right in there. I feel like that's easier because then you have less time to think about it. Like they just literally, like they literally threw you in the fire, and they're like, you're gonna have to replace or like be a replacement for one of the best shortstops in baseball. I mean, the more you had to think about that, probably that like the worse it plays on your mental health and like your mental toll, and you start overthinking things and stuff like that. So when you came into like when you arrived in Toronto, your first game with the Blue Jays, like what was the hardest adjustment you had to make from AAA playing in that Buffalo league where, in my opinion, some of the balls are juiced there to like playing in the show? Like what was the biggest change you had to make there just from your Buffalo days to the Toronto days?
Well, it's kind of funny. My first game was in Tampa, and we were winning like 20-0, and they're like, "Hey, dude, you're gonna go play shortstop for Bo, and we're winning 20-0, so go have fun, like whatever." And that was like a really easy, like, "Hey, welcome back to the big league." So I had to hit against a position player. I played 2 innings of shortstop, and that was it. So I was like, all right, that was this is the same old thing. This is easy money. And then I got a real welcome back the next day with McClanahan, who struck me out, and I didn't have a great game. But dude, it's just so much easier when you have a good group of guys and guys who just make you feel at home. And it's just I had a blast, dude. From my first game with Toronto, my first game with Buffalo, like it's just a good group, dude.
So they talk about you being welcomed into the clubhouse. We've heard some stories about certain Brandon Belt welcoming some people into the clubhouse. Is he as good as the stories are told about him?
So this is something I've heard these stories for a few years now. And he's got that nickname for a reason. That's all I'll say. I know your guys' nickname for him. I love that. I love it.
He's the best, bro. He's the best.
He is the best. What a legend.
Dude, it's just like he's one of those guys where he knows like he's already accomplished World Series. Like everything he does after, like everything he did this year was just icing on the cake. Like obviously he wanted to win a World Series again and like be like successful in the playoffs and all that type of stuff. But he has his World Series. He has his legacy career that he had in San Francisco. Like this is all icing on the cake. What player did you graduate or gravitate to when you were in Toronto? Like someone that kind of took you under their wing or maybe helped you get a little more comfortable when you were there?
Yeah, so Whit Merrifield, actually, he helped me out big time because we both love golf, and he was like, "Dude, let's go play." And dude, I really didn't like. I knew I had gotten to know all the Buffalo guys really well, like throughout the season. So I knew all them. They told me a little bit about all the guys in Toronto. But Whit right away was like, "Hey, let's golf." Like, I got to know him pretty well. Kiermaier is like a great personality who just kind of welcomes everybody in and makes you feel comfortable. So those veteran presences are awesome. And then I got to know Bo and all those guys, and Kevin was kind of riding the pine too at the time, kind of trying to break his way into the lineup at the time I got called up. So I got to hang with him in the cage and in the dugout a bunch. So those guys, we play the same position, kind of me and Witt. So like I got to kind of ask him about what that was like. And I don't know, all those guys were just great, man. Awesome.
It's probably because you and Witt are both national champions too. Not a big deal.
Whoa. Little natty under the belt. Ring talk.
Yeah, some people.
We know how to win, man. We know how to win. We know what it takes to win a championship. That's a big deal.
No, exactly. So you talk about all the Buffalo boys coming up. I think as a fan, that was like some of the most fun baseball we got to watch this season. Obviously, a little bit disappointment, but when the Buffalo boys came up, what was that like for you as two guys you got to play with who seems like you loved hanging out with them as well, Horowitz and David Schneider? So you guys being in the big leagues for that time, what was that like?
Dude, those are my guys, man. Like right away in Buffalo when I got there and like I didn't really know anyone, those are the kind of guys that like I just naturally gravitated to because just phenomenal human beings and hilarious, and they're just incredible baseball players too. So it was just so funny. I think like there was probably 5 or 6 times like where we would just like look at each other and be like, dude, we're all in the big leagues, like hanging out. This is so cool. Like we dap each other up, we do our like weird little handshake that we do with each other, and it's just so funny, man. I couldn't be happier for those two. They've earned it, and I watch them every day and see how how hard they work, and to see them make it to the big leagues and then continue to have success is just awesome.
It's an electric trio. And honestly, you can make the case the Jays wouldn't have made the playoffs if you guys didn't do what you do when everyone was injured. But when you saw Davis Schneider's success that he had right off the rip, what was it like in like the clubhouse, or like what was it like in AAA and stuff like that? Just seeing your guy, like 27th round pick or 28th round pick, guy came from the trenches, just absolutely rake and just make history his first weekend with the big club.
Dude, it's funny. I got called down for Davis when he got called up, and he's one of those guys where like, yeah, like I was bummed, and I wanted to be up there and I wanted to play and do all that, but to see him go up there, I could put all my frustrations aside and be like, dude, this is just such a cool moment for him. And I was at home. I took you get like 3 days to hang out when you get sent down. They're like, hey, you don't have to go. Usually I'm like right away. I'm like, hey, I want to play right away.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go home, see my family. I hadn't seen my parents in a while. And me and my dad are watching the Jays game on our TV, and Davis comes up and hits that homer in his first at bat. And I literally right before that, I was like, dude, he's going to hit a homer. He's going to hit a homer. And me and my old man are going nuts. And like, it's guys like that where you can put any personal frustrations or personal, whatever you got going on, you can put it aside, and it's just such a cool moment for him. And I couldn't have been happier for him. I told him before, I'm like, dude, if there's anybody that I would give up my spot for, it's you. Like the guy, he just earned it, man. And Spencer's the same way, just an awesome guy. And it was just so exciting to watch those guys have success. They've earned every bit of that.
Yeah, we got to get in Horowitz's ear, Abe. We got to get Horowitz on the pod next week. We'll we'll get him on next week. But going back to your national championship, man. I mean, obviously, you played in the big leagues. You had debut. Avery was watching your fucking film today at work, your highlight film. But like that national championship, where does that rank in like the greatest moments of your entire like sports career or life or stuff like that? Because obviously the debut's there, the first home runs there. Does that kind of trumpet like accomplishing something with guys you've just been grinding in college with, grinding in the dorms with? Like, is that the top of the mountain for you so far?
Yeah, that's number one. That's definitely number one. I mean, the personal accomplishments are great. That's awesome. But when you can like work with your boys and like really grind for like come together for that one goal, and suffer and suck and really fail through the whole season, and then lean on your boys and come out on top. That's definitely number one, man. It was incredible, and we had a lot of fun that year too. We got in a lot of trouble, and we battled and it came out. We weren't supposed to be there, so like just going through all the ups and downs, and just to come out and accomplish that goal, it's special, man. And I assume the World Series is a similar feeling because there's a lot of ups and downs in a major league season. There's 162 games instead of 50 in the college season, so I can only imagine how awesome that feels.
You don't get into as much trouble in the big leagues, though. No punishment running for doing stupid shit, though. It's a little bit different.
I had to do a lot of punishment running
Yeah,
at
me
McCook
too.
Community College, bro. I don't know if the listeners, because a lot of listeners are Canadian based, if they don't know what triangles are.
No, a good 6 and 9 for you.
6 and 9, dude. Triangles are the worst. Home plate, foul pole, home plate, nightmare fuel. Absolutely fucking nightmare fuel, Abe.
It's the worst ever. But you say one of the best days. So you have 4 big league home runs, right? That's where you're at now. And 2 of them were in the same game, were they not?
That was pretty awesome.
I mean, that's got to be up there.
Yeah, that's right there because I don't hit very many homers. I think I had more home runs this year than I had in my entire professional career leading up to it. So, it was like I think everybody was surprised I even hit one, and then I hit another that same game.
You went backside too for your first one.
Yeah, they were like, "All right, what's going on, man?"
Dude, playing in Cleveland though. Because I always talk, obviously, I've known Luplo for a while, so we always talk about it. Me and Avery actually went to a Guardians-Yankees playoff game last year just for shits and gigs. I'm looking back on I can't believe we did that.
It's the stupidest day we've ever had.
So the Cleveland Guardians fans are a different breed. Like, these people, it's cold as shit. They're all topless, blackout drunk, just chirping Yankee fans. Like, what was it like playing for those fans down there? Because they're crazy.
That's a beautiful thing. That's why I got along well. No matter how bad I sucked while I was there, I got along with the Cleveland faithful because, they're just grinders, man. They're like me. I feel like Rochester, New York. That's where I'm from, Rochester, New York. So
yeah,
Rochester and Cleveland, like Bills fans, Browns fans, very similar, very very similar. We grind through the tough times, and it was so fun playing for that city. I really did love it, but. I wish I could have given them a little bit more, but they were always really, really nice to me. And I really appreciated that because I felt like we had a little bond from, the Browns and the Bills and, battling through the bad weather.
What's Tito like?
Oh, dude, legend. Absolute legend. Actually, the first time I met Tito was a funny story. And I can tell it because, he's retiring or he's done managing. The first time I met him, I walk in to spring training. I was late because Francisco Lindor had just hurt his ankle or something. So they needed an extra shortstop, and they called me up, little 22-year-old Ernie. And they're like, "Hey, we need you to come play short. Let's go meet the manager." I walk in, I meet the clubbies. I'm like, "Hey guys, how you doing?" They're like, "Hey, let's go meet Tito." Walk me into the back, near his office, and he's not in there. I'm looking around, he's not there. And they're like, "No, he's back, in the back." And he's on the toilet taking a shit. And I walked right in and I shook his hand while he was on the toilet, taking a dump. And I shook his hand. I'm like, "How you doing? I'm Ernie." He's like, "Oh, great to see you, man. We're excited to have you." Mid, on the toilet. And I'm like, "How you doing?" And he's like, "Well," I'm pretty good. I'm taking a shit. And I'm like, "Oh my," I go beat red, dude. I was so embarrassed. So embarrassed because this is a Hall of Fame manager, dude. I watched him manage against. I was a big Yankees fan growing up, so I watched him manage against the Yanks. And by the way, now I do not like the Yankees at all.
Hell yeah.
I'm like, what was I thinking? Meeting. This is his first impression of me is that I come in and shake his hand while he's on the John. It's like, what? I mean, what are we doing?
Dude, I don't know if you played with Josh Tomlin, but Tomlin told me a funny story about him and Tito. They had a prank war where Tito pranked Tomlin into drinking Tito's dip spit. And they just had a war like this. So apparently Tito went to go do a mound visit, and Tomlin switched Tito's coffee that he drinks on the bench with dip spit. And Tito drank the dip spit and walked to the mound with no idea that he had dip spit in his mouth and was just walked back to the dugout, was like, "You motherfucker," to Josh Tomlin. That's Tito's an old school guy like that. All the stories I've heard about him from Cal Quantrill and Tomlin and stuff like that. That guys just love playing for.
Oh, everybody loves him, man. He's just a baseball guy at heart, and the only way to stay in this game that long is to mess around and have a good time. So it makes sense, but he's just a legend, man. I loved playing for him.
He's all time.
That is
So
so funny.
Ernie, for the next steps, like for your game, what you go into this off season, what are you working on? What's the thing you're getting ready for next season?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I've gotten right back in the gym. I'm playing a lot of golf. Don't get me wrong, but I'm busting my ass, man. I gotta make a team. I don't really have a I don't really have a choice. I'm out of options. I can't do the whole up and down thing anymore. I gotta just bust my tail and be ready to go. So I'm back in the weight room. I'm getting stronger. I'm gonna be hitting pretty soon, and I'm always ready to go defensively. So I just gotta keep it going from last season. That's probably my best season I've had in professional baseball. So if I can just pick up where I left off, I'll help this team win.
I'm
And
always
and
interested
speak,
with one side here, Johnny. I'm always interested people who swing like the baseball swing and the golf swing. You get no like you never feel like it fucks the other one up ever.
Oh no, no chance, no
That's
chance. If
awesome.
anything, it helps. It helps to get the body going. It helps me rotate. So it's very similar, but I yeah, I've never had. I actually usually play better. The game that I hit 2 home runs, I played golf that morning, in Detroit. So I always play better when I golf. I think Schneids will tell you the same thing. Davis Schneider, him and I used to play all the time before our games in Buffalo. So it definitely helps.
there is no way Schneider has any golf style. Like I say that with the utmost respect. Like he's probably pulling up, no golf glove, just generic white golf tee, not tucked in, and just some old FootJoy boots on him. There's no way, right? Does he have good golf
Bro, I
style?
bro, he's got no golf style, but my God, he absolutely hammers it. And I took him out to Oak Hill, like this had to be in April. And he comes out like this is not an easy course, by the way. Like this is like PGA type stuff. And he comes out, shoots 76, like our first round out. And I'm like, buddy, what are we doing? Like, who are you? I like didn't really know him that well at the time. I'm like, dude, you're the man. You can smash a baseball and on the side you shoot 76 on the golf course. Ridiculous.
Yeah, and I asked Schneids about this when like I've been out with him a couple times and we kind of just talked about this over text and stuff like that as well. I want to talk about the AAA hitting coach because obviously every single guy I've talked to talks about like how good he is and like his approach and the way he approaches players individually and stuff like that. Like, what difference did he make for you this year and like what makes him so good? Avery, what's his name? Matt Haig? Is that right, correct on that? I didn't want to butcher that, but like, what makes him so good?
Dude, first of all, he's just a homie. He's one of the boys. He did it. He played. He made it to the big leagues, but he grinded his balls off in the minor leagues, and that goes a long way, dude. When you have a bunch of young guys and guys who have sucked in their career like me, if you have one of the homies there, like kind of telling you like what he messed up on and what he could have done better, and he's like, hey, let me give you some advice and not just like coaching you and telling you like, hey, you need to do this. When he's like, hey, this might help. Like this, the way he goes about it is like, it's not as if your superior. Like if he's your coach, it's like if he's like your buddy and like a guy who just wants to see you get better. That goes a long way because I've had coaches who are like, hey, do this, like very regimented, like my way or the highway. And that goes the wrong way with guys. So like the fact that he did it and failed and had success and failed and had to go through those trials and tribulations, like, bro, it goes a long way. And I really appreciated the way that he went about it. And then just his knowledge on the side is, it's great. And I mean, it really helped me. Like I loved playing for those guys down in Buffalo, but it was more of a partnership than like, okay, this is a coach telling you what to do, it's amazing.
Yeah, he's just everyone talks about him so well, man, and I think that does definitely go a long way for those guys. You see him he was a Blue Jay too. So one of the best things
Yeah.
you've done this offseason is we've seen you online clapping back at people, and
That's the Johnny G effect, though. Me and him talked about that when we were golfing. I told him he has to get more involved, more in the
so
mud. I do
so
respect
good.
that.
So just for you being online, the people God love that. How do you feel? Is it just like does it feel wrong to you when you do it or just fucking feel great?
Oh, it feels phenomenal. I used to do this. I used to clap back at the Cleveland people all the time. Because I'd have people, dude. I was hitting a $150 over there, like playing like crap, like couldn't do anything right. And these people would tweet at me like, dude, you're a fucking loser, like you suck. And I would just like look at their profile and like pick something out and just like rip them apart. And then all of a sudden, I had like a bunch of people like having my back in Cleveland. They're like, yeah, get him, like this is great. And I'm like, yeah, how does it feel, dude? Like you come at me, I mean, I gotta clap back a little bit. So it's
Yeah.
just it's funny, like it's really fun. The best part is like you see people like talk shit and then you talk shit back and they're like, dude, hey, big fan. Hope you do well, like all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's like you should just start with that. Don't be a jerk. Like, don't rip me apart. I know I suck. I'm the one that like I'm there doing it. It doesn't feel good. Like I don't need some random Joe in his basement like rip me apart. I'll clap back right at you. And it actually like creates a little bit of a connection with the fans and they love it. And I hope that everybody knows it's all in fun. I'm not trying to like make anybody feel bad, but
Yeah,
it's
no,
just
you and
funny,
you don't
dude. It's
go
just
you don't go
entertainment.
aggressive. Like I go you see me, I go kind of a little bit below. I don't go below the belt, but I come at people fucking hard. But and I will say this, we kind of have like a cult like following here with Gate 14 now. With the bigger we get, they love Ernie Clement. I mean, there is just a million Ernie Clement burner accounts just following us. I mean, the YouTube names are Ernie Clement. Everything, all of our followers and listeners have gravitated towards you. I mean, what's been your kind of impression of Jays fans so far? Because honestly, man, I mean, based off your numbers here, they have no reason to hate you or ever chirp you or anything along those lines. So, like, what's it been like for you so far here?
Oh, I love it, dude. I love it. Well, I'd hope they would hold me accountable when I do suck. Like, I understand that whole thing. Like, when I play bad, you say whatever you want to me. I mean, I personally understand and know, like, I'm a Bills fan, huge Bills fan. And when Josh Allen throws an interception, I'm the first one on my seat, like, dude, you suck. What are you doing?
Yeah,
But, you know, I am also like, I'm a player and I understand, like, it's not like these guys are trying to suck. So, like, I totally understand. But so far, dude, Jays fans, they've been so cool, dude. I mean, I've loved it, man. I've loved it. I mean, I'm like so low on the totem pole of Blue Jays that it's just like it's so cool, especially to watch like Schneider's whole thing take off, like the mustaches in the stands. I mean, that is just the coolest thing ever. So like, I almost started growing a mustache because of him. Like I totally get the fandom and like how awesome it is to follow, like and how excited you can get over like a really good team. So it's just I love it. Jays fans have been awesome to me.
yeah.
You talk Bills. Where are you at with the Bills right now?
They're on bum watch, Ernie. They're on bum watch. That
I know.
Giants game was
I
bad.
saw your tweets. I saw your tweets about the Bills. I know. And the Leafs. I get it. But I think we're all right, man. I would rather them fail and learn from it now. Like that, you got to go through the tough times to come out on top. I learned that in college. You know, NCAA national champion, no big deal. But I mean, you got to go through the tough times. It's how it goes. That's why, dude. That's why I really thought that we were gonna go a little bit farther this year in the playoffs because we went through the shitstorm quite a few times. I thought this team had it, but we'll see what the Bills got. I hopefully it doesn't happen like last year, but I think we got a shot.
You being a guy from that area and stuff like that, when the Jays signed you, was that like just I don't know if you had an option or I don't know how that works, but was it just like a no-brainer for you? Or like how fired up was your family that you'd be like 20 minutes, 30 minutes from where they're at? Because that's insane.
Totally a no-brainer. I had a couple other options, but I was a minor league free agent, so it was like, hey, sign with us and we'll give you X amount of money. And I was like, I don't really care. Like I wanted to play. Like the last couple of years I've been riding the pine in Cleveland and I'm like, dude, I just want to play baseball. I love this game so much. Just give me a chance to play. And the Jays were like, hey, we'll start you in Buffalo, AAA. I mean, you play your ass off, you never know what could happen. We got a lot of good prospects. We got a stacked lineup. Like, you never know what could happen, but you're probably just going to play in AAA all year. I didn't care about the money. They're like, you'll play 4 to 5 times a week. I'm like, that's it. Done. I'm in. Just let me play. And I knew I could kind of take care of the rest because I believed in myself and I just wanted to play. That's all I wanted. So it was a no-brainer to me being close to home and, being able to see my family, and they told me I'd play, so that was huge.
This is my dumb brain question here because I got to ask this. I've obviously never hit 348 in my life. Once at 185 junior college, but you hit 348 in AAA, and let's just take a step back here, just to Ernie in your brain here.
11 bombs.
How fucking awesome is it to just hit 348 anywhere? I mean, that's just like you step up to the plate and you're just seeing fucking beach balls. So this is my dumb brain asking you, how much did that rock? Like just
Dude,
raking every fucking at bat.
I will say, if you told me I was gonna hit 350 with 10 homers or whatever, like
11.
I would have said you're out of your fucking mind. I would have said you are nuts. And I haven't I love looking at the stats. I think it's great, but is it 348?
348 with 11 bombs, 100 hits. 100 hits
on
the fucking dot, by the way.
Oh no, that was as soon as I got the 100, I was like, all right, I'm chilling. That's crazy. Because someone was like, dude, they were like, you need 7 hits to get to 100 hits. It was like right when I got called down, and I was like, all right, we could, we might be able to get there. That's a lot of hits in 3 games, but we'll figure it out.
Just absurd.
I was like, all right, screw it, like let's ride. But
just dude, absolutely absurd.
It's awesome because like you don't even have to when you're like playing well and you're playing with your boys, you don't even have to think about it. You just go out there and you play, and you just kind of let everything else take care of itself. Like I just had such a blast playing, dude. Like we had such a good group down in Buffalo. Like I looked forward every day to showing up to the field, and that had not been the case at times the last couple of years. Like I've always just loved baseball, but it can be very stressful, and when you're not playing well, it's not fun.
Trust me, I know.
I know.
Oh, trust me, I know. I mean, so I was in Nebraska.
So I just had such a blast playing, and that goes a long way, and it definitely helped.
Who's the next Buffalo boy that Toronto's gonna have to look out for, you think, playing with those guys all year? Who's the next one to take the big step, do you think?
Like out of all the guys out of anybody that didn't make it to the big leagues?
Yeah.
Dude, Rafael Antigua, absolute stud.
Never heard of that guy in my life. Do you know who that is, Avery?
Bro,
I don't know much.
He's not on any prospect list. He's like probably 24, 25 maybe. He had an unbelievable year in Buffalo, but I got to dude, he showed up every day. Same shit every day, played great. They weren't going to really give him a chance in Toronto, and if they don't put him on the 40-man, he will get picked up so fast. Plays every position. He plays every position really well, and he's just an on-base machine. He's a phenomenal guy too.
Did you get to watch Big Dick Rick? Big Dick Ricky Tiedemann? You get to see Big Dick Rick there?
Yeah,
what's he like?
He's a savage. He's a savage out there. Bro, he's just like grabs his nuts and throws the ball every time. It's awesome.
God damn it.
I mean, he strikes out 10 guys every time he picks it up, but he walks out to the mound, grabs his nuts, and shoves it down your throat every time.
Oh, he's so electric. We have Big Dick Rick shirts in the vault that we were supposed to drop this year, but he never got called up. But I cannot wait to drop those. The Big Dick Rick.
Just wait.
It's special. He's insane, dude. I got to ask you about this. So you play with Oakland. Obviously, I'm really good friends with Kevin Smith, so I got to talk about that with him as well.
Yeah.
Did you play with Tyler Wade?
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's. I mean, he dated Alex Earl. Like, did he get chirped a little bit for that by the fans? Because I saw some of the fans chirping him in spring training videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, they were wearing him out. That was kind of like at the end of that whole thing. Like, he got worn out way worse before spring training because he was actually like kind of dating her. But he showed up, and like I think like 5 or 6 guys were like, dude, like what's the deal with like this chick, like this TikTok girl or whatever. And he's like, dude, it was so bad. Like all these girls would just like come up to him and like yell at him and stuff. And he's like, what is going on? Because he didn't like, I guess he's not like, wasn't like a big on social media or something.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't shout her out or something. I don't know.
No, he wouldn't post her apparently because I did. Obviously, I asked Kevin about that. Yeah, I asked Kevin about that because Kevin's tapped in. That's my guy. Fucking love Kevin Smith. What a legend that guy is.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. Congratulations to him on having a kid.
Yeah, he had a kid. Congrats, K Smith. I was actually there's a video that Avery tweets on the Gate 14 of me awesome. At Kevin Smith's debut. that I swallowed. So Kevin got his first career hit at the Rogers Center. I was sitting with his family, and I swallowed like an entire like mouthful of dip. And like the TV pans to us, and I'm like clapping for his first hit, and my face is just absolutely fucked. Like I was just looking around like, oh my God, because I was so fired up. But what a guy K. Smith is, though. But when you got released by the A's, though, like, were you shocked? Like, where were you at with that?
Yeah, hell yeah. I was like, what are we doing? Like, I finished the year last year. They claimed me off waivers. I got DFA'd by Cleveland, claimed by them. And I busted my ass all fall, all winter. And I was like expecting to like have a chance to make their team. And they DFA'd me in the winter. So I was like, all right, whatever. But they told me that I would have a chance to like, come in and compete for a job. And, I believed them. And then they released me. And I'm like, all right. So I had this whole season, like, I'm like, all right, all I have to do is just, make them kind of eat their words. I couldn't believe that they released me. And after what they had told me, like, I would have a chance to compete. But I get it. It's a business, man. They needed a young team. They needed to dump all their old guys like me. No, all their old guys. And I'm like, all right, like, I get it. They have a couple good young prospects, but it would still have been nice I would have liked to help them win because I got to know a lot of the young guys in spring training, and it would have been cool to kind of help them, get into it and work. But, I would rather go where I'm wanted. So,
yeah, I mean, you're wanted here, obviously, but I got to talk to you about this. Is the last question. I got to talk to you about that atmosphere because you were in the dugout, right, in Minnesota. You're with the team.
Yeah.
What was because listen, me and Avery came at the state of Minnesota, and a lot of fans in Minnesota came at us and said that it's a higher tourist destination than Toronto, which is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. But that's besides the fact. What was that atmosphere like at Target Field? Was it as loud as people were talking? Like you being in the dugout, you being a spectator there. What was that like there? Because which is crazy, by the way. People don't know this. You were at like the Bills game like 2 days before that game, right? I saw on your Instagram story.
That is what's hilarious. We we were in Buffalo. We're in Buffalo for like we're all working out, like kind of trying to stay ready, and they were like, "Hey, you guys have to stay till Monday." And I'm like, "Well, shit, let's go to the Bills game. Let's go tailgate and go to the Bills game so I could show like a couple of the guys like what it's all about." And we had such a good time. It was awesome. Unfortunately, we had to like keep it together because we got to help the boys. We might have to help the boys win a playoff game, but dude, we had such a blast going to that tailgate in the game. But I've been to Minnesota a lot, probably the most out of any road venue in Major League Baseball, just because when I was with Cleveland, we were there so much. And it was like, you guys see me?
Yeah.
All right. And like being in Minnesota for regular season games is okay. Like it's a good environment. It's a great field, great facility. It's a good environment during the regular season. It was insane for the playoffs. It was nuts. I mean, you couldn't hear yourself think when when Lewis hit those homers. Couldn't hear a thing. Could not hear a thing. When Duran was up there blowing smoke to close it out, like, I mean, that was cool, man. It was really cool to be a part of, and it really sucked to be on the other end of it.
Yeah, wait, don't worry. When the Jays get a home playoff game next year, you'll get a chance to see how fucked it is.
Well, so the Jays home games during the regular season are 1,000 times better than Minnesota in the regular season. And honestly, they compare in the postseason. Jays if Toronto gets a home playoff game, it will be deafening.
Oh, it's fucked. It's absolutely fucked in the head. But anyways, Erndog, we're gonna have you do this actually, because obviously I love the hockey shit you do. You got to start updating you got to start tapping into your Twitter, posting those stats every week for the people. We'll have the Ernie Clement stat tracker. Post them every week after the game. Tag us, tag 814. We'll get it going. We'll have someone track it. We'll make a hockey card for you. We'll get it going. I need to see the Ernie stats every single week.
Dude, if you guys make a hockey card, that would be nasty.
Send us a pic. We'll get. Listen, our cult like following. There'll probably be Ernie Clement hockey cards DM to us. But we
Bro,
got to get a picture of you out there.
I was
hell
thinking
yeah.
about cutting the flow off. I don't know.
Oh, you got to go I mean, that kind of rocks. Do you
Look at the
go
mullet.
visor, no visor? Where are you at with that? You a visor
Look
guy?
at the mully, boys. Look at that. It's hockey season, baby. No, I'm
telling you, we have a group chat. We're coming down in November. We're coming down. Me, Alto, Curtis, Jonah, Avery. We're gonna watch a Sabres game with you. Get after that Chippewa. Never been out there before.
Oh, God.
Maybe I'll find love.
I gotta go home long before Chippewa, but yeah, I'm in. You guys gotta go to Chippewa. It's a beauty.
Anyways, Ern Dog, man. I mean, listen, I consider you a good friend of mine now, man. You're one of the guys, and obviously our listeners have gravitated towards you. So I appreciate you taking the time to hop on this, man. And good luck in the off season. Good luck with that little hockey regimen you got going on there in the off season training. And we'll stay in touch, keep talking. But I do appreciate you coming on this, brother.
Dude, you guys are the best. That was fun. I appreciate you having me.
All right, great interview. Listen, I'll say this again. Making an athlete seem like putting a human and putting a face and putting a personality behind an athlete that you watch on TV is fucking awesome. That's why I started this podcast. That's why I continue to get close with players and get them on and show their personalities, because now all you guys who listen to that podcast, listen to the Ernie Clement interview, know the person that he is when he's not on the baseball field, and he fucking rocks. He's all time. He rocks.
I can't say anything more about that. One of the best guys we've met doing this, man. Happy for Ernie's year last year and hoping for continued success as a Toronto Blue Jay for Ernie.
And I will say this. I am kind of mad we didn't ask him about the pitching, the performance, but we'll get him on another time this offseason. Maybe when we go to the Bills game when he's in the vlog, we can ask him about it when we've had a couple Labats. But great guy. And there's a little snippet that people don't know about this. Me, Ernie, Alto, and Curtis are in a group chat, and Avery. And after every single beer league hockey game, Ernie just phantomly texts us his beer league hockey stats. So it's just, he's the best. Glad you guys enjoyed it. It's good to be back, man. I don't know how many days till the season, 160 something, I believe. So we got to kill the time here. We'll keep pumping out content for you guys, man. And love you guys. Make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast and download all of our stuff, and keep showing that support. Gate 14 forever, and let's have ourselves a week.